Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another UFC fight prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the four-quarter fights for UFC 271, Adesanya versus Whittaker 2. So without further ado, let's get to our first fight on the card. So in our first fight, we have in the welterweight division, Jeremiah Wells versus Mike Mathetha. In the welterweight division, if I didn't already say, I feel like I didn't, but anywho, Wells versus Mathetha, how I see this one is, I feel like Wells' over-aggression will be his downfall. I feel like both guys are very awkward. Both guys are unorthodox. But I feel like Wells is unorthodox in a way that's counterproductive in a way. He's a more well-rounded fighter. I definitely think he's the better grappler. But I think more so he's going to play in the striking too much. And with everything he does, whether it be grappling or striking, it's going to be overexertion. And he might have got that stop at the Warley Alves, but he was clearly slowing down in that fight. And that was just a one-round fight. Or a two-round fight, but now he's going in with a world-class kickboxer who's probably taking advantage of that aggression, landing knees in the clinch or knees in the inside to the man that's coming in here swinging big shots and probably rolling with some of his shots, kneeing him, landing little sharp chipping elbows or chopping elbows in the inside. Mike Wells probably trying to force some takedowns, might have some success there, but Mike Mathetha staying calm, staying composed, weathering, working his way back to his feet, and Wells trying to force takedowns, force openings to land bombs, and trying to, just really push his bombs through the guard of Mathetha. Ultimately, Mathetha just being calm within the chaos. And also him being unorthodox as well. So two awkward guys, but Mathetha going to be like more calm in that chaos. This is the guy that can go rounds and rounds with chaos. And, style is wild. Not wild, but unorthodox. It's not a style that's counterproductive like Wells is. Wells is like just straight energy. And this man like 35, 36 fighting like he's 22 or 19. So that style going to backfire on him. And I see Mike Mathetha just weathering it, land little chopping shots in there to further, make his gas tank deplete even faster, then putting him away in the third. So in this fight, I have Mike Mathetha via third round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the bantamweight division, Douglas Silva de Andrade versus Sergey Morozov, and how I see this one right here. I feel like Andrade, don't play a one-dimensional fight right here. I don't see him really have any success with the wrestling. I feel like Morozov is the better striker. Not better striker. Well, I think overall striking you can kind of lean, but overall he's the better fighter. I think he's definitely a better grappler, or at least go have control of whether the fight goes to the ground or not. And then striking wise, I feel like he'll be the one throwing more value, whereas Andrade will be looking for big shots, loading up. Morozov will be constantly throwing output out there, keeping him busy, like put him on a reactive. And then so when you're controlling and you're putting your opponent on a reactive, you're pretty much determining or dictating when they engage. So he's going to dictate when Andrade engages, and when Andrade engages, be landing takedowns off of his reactions and just really outwork him, outfight him, and beat him to a decision. So in this one, I got Sergey Morozov via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the middleweight division, Jacob Malkoun versus AJ Dobson. And how I see this one right here is more like an AJ Dobson. I just not really feeling him, to be honest. See a guy that's very jittery, fights like got ants in his pants, and he got to rush home to, get the fight over as quickly as possible and get home and take a shower and wash those ants off. Or the man got asthma or something, he can't go any further, so he got spaz before he passes out or something. But the man fights like a spaz, and I don't like that. I typically don't like those from fighters. Jacob Malkoun, the one thing we really hold against him is the Phil Hall's fight. Other than that, we see the Razak Al Hassan fight, and also AJ Dobson. People might say, "Oh, he should grappling this, grappling that," but his grappling looks pretty mediocre to me, at least by UFC caliber standards. And Malkoun definitely is the more cleaner grappler. I feel like he's a cleaner wrestler in this one. I feel like he's a cleaner striker. But Dobson packs more power. And all it takes is one shot, as we know. That's the ultimate equalizer. You can put somebody lights out. No matter what they do, you can survive. You find that chin. It's all she wrote. But with this one, I just feel like Dobson's going to come out here over-aggressive, over-exertion, try to find a knockout, trying to force exchanges, trying to force the finish or force a finish. And Malkoun's going to be out there clean, sharper, peppering with the jab, stay to his fundamentals, take advantage of the overexertions, score takedowns, work him against the cage, and look to just drain him, extend him, and beat him to a decision. So just take advantage of the overaggression, stay clean, stay composed, beat a more composed, sharper fighter out there, and beat Dobson to a decision. So in this one, I got Jacob Malkoun via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the light heavyweight division, Carlos Ulberg versus Fabio Cherant. And how I see this one right here between Ulberg versus Cherant in the light heavyweight division is, I really just don't see a viable skill set for Cherant. I just don't think he's UFC caliber. Striking not UFC caliber. His fight IQ is not UFC caliber. His grappling not UFC caliber. I mean, he's in the UFC. He made it here somehow, but I don't think for long. But there's opportunities for him against Ulberg. Ulberg is a guy that's also got to prove himself as well. But Ulberg, at least offensively, is more than UFC caliber with his striking. Grappling, we haven't really seen him much, but training with City Kickboxing, I don't think a single one of those guys in the division, I mean, a single guy in that gym that's in the UFC has really any big deficiency in their grappling. They might not be a grappler, but all these guys have been pretty sharp. Adesanya, Riddell, Volkanovski, it goes on. You can't say a single one of those guys' name. You can't really pinpoint one that has terrible grappling or a deficiency in grappling. So I feel like his grappling should hold up against Cherant. And Cherant, obviously, grappling ain't all that if he got tapped about Alonzo Minifield. So one area we say he might have an advantage in, clearly ain't that much of an advantage in. So I feel like Ulberg should keep this on feet. Well, be able to keep this on the feet and probably even score a takedown or two if he needs to. But ultimately, I see him go out there, keep this fight on the feet. The fight standing too long. And Cherant not doing what he needs to do, not pressing like he needs to do, getting picked apart on the feet, and then getting put away in the second round. So in this fight, I got Carlos Ulberg via second round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the lightweight division, Alexander Hernandez versus Renato Moicano. So how I see this one right here is, let's look at Hernandez first. The guy, every time he steps up outside of his win against Beneil Dariush and I guess Trinado, which was very close. Probably could have went to Trinado. Maybe should have went to Trinado. Yeah, so in Olivier Aubin-Mercier fight. So that's like 3 wins. But not enough to be crying that you should be a main card fighter. He's not a main card fighter. The Cerrone fight, you getting dogged by Cerrone like that, you should not be a main card fighter. Maybe, well, I don't know. Cerrone has his moments, but you should not be a main card fighter. And his resume, his wins don't really dictate a main card fighter. I guess the best thing he can hold on to is a Beneil Dariush win. But Beneil Dariush has already taken that loss, rebounded, beat the man who destroyed you, basically. And Thiago Moises twice now. I mean, he beat him before he even came to UFC. Beat him after you beat him, and after you beat him, I don't know where the case be. But anywho, I'm getting tongue tied a little bit and already losing what I'm trying to say. But anywho, well, I see with Hernandez, the guy that just fails every single time he takes a step up, and this turns into an aggressive guy that's trying to force takedowns and force power shots and then looking lost on the feet. And it's not even like Thiago Moises is the greatest striker, and Thiago Moises had that guy, made him look like he was prime Anderson Silva. He was picking him apart, playing with him, laughing at him in his face, and Alexander Hernandez go out there, nothing to do but cry and swing like a pouty little girl. That's all he could do in that fight. Force takedowns, then argue like he won a decision that he got mixed up in. But yeah, going against Moicano will be longer. I feel like he's a more technical fighter. I feel like he's a more proven fighter. Definitely feel like he's a better grappler. I feel like it's gonna be again where Hernandez gonna go out there trying to find his chin and look, bank on trying to get a knockout. And this not a fight, a full fight. And if he does fight a full fight, I just feel like I just feel like Moicano just more composed than him everywhere. Again, longer, sharper, cleaner striking. Probably mix some little calf kicks in there, touch him from a distance, pepper him with a jab a bit. Hernandez getting forcing with these big shots, missing, getting touched up. Then look for takedowns and getting countered with submission attempts. And then ultimately having to force to bail out and give up position to Moicano. Then Moicano dominated him there, controlling position there. And I really see Moicano just being a step or two ahead in every single facet of this game. Ultimately wearing him down and tapping him out in the third round. So in this fight, I have Renato Moicano via third round submission. Now to our next fight, we have in the bantamweight division, Ronnie Lawrence versus Manny Martinez. And how I see this one right here between Lawrence versus Martinez is, I just think that Ronnie Lawrence is flat out better in every single area. Manny Martinez was very disappointed in his debut in the UFC for the journeyman fighter who like 37 years old, not that well-rounded, not that skilled, and for him to a very close decision, like he didn't really have much answers for him. He just had to, I don't know, just look gunshot, just didn't look himself. Probably will come out better in this fight, but at least, I don't know, probably won't be better because this is a bigger, huge step up in competition. You gunshot against that guy, but I guess it was his first UFC fight. And then, hey, this is a fight he's supposed to lose, so maybe he'll come out a little bit better, but nonetheless, Ronnie Lawrence is literally better in every area and better overall by a good large sum. So I see Ronnie Lawrence dominate every single facet of this fight, controlling every single facet of this fight, touching him up on the feet, drawing out those reactions, scoring takedowns over him, draw out those counter punches, drag him to the ground, knock the wind out of his cells on the ground with maybe some little punches to the body, little peppers face up. So mixing him up, making him work, draining him through 2, and then TKOing him in the third. So drain him through 2, put him out in the third. So in this fight, I got Ronnie Lawrence via third round TKO. Now to our next fight we have in the light heavyweight division, William Knight versus Maxim Grishin. And how I see this one is, I feel like Maxim Grishin is just a much more composed fighter, the sharper striker. I feel like his grappling is competent enough to stuff I think he's strong enough. Like he's competent in grappling and he's strong enough to really neutralize William Knight's grappling game. I feel like William Knight would be able to force some takedowns, but probably overexert himself doing it. And ultimately, I still see this as a close fight just for the fact how awkward William Knight is. And it's not like Maxim Grishin, this guy that's go out there with so much power, he's so clean, so polished, or he does up so much volume, or he's going to be scoring takedowns heavily himself. So I see it as a close fight because the judge is going to judge just based off the fact that William Knight's throwing big shots, maybe not landing, but the fact that this guy bench presses tractor trailers, and probably even though he's hitting arm or hitting shoulder or hitting stuff, the judge is going to see that movement. They're going to see that power shots landing, or landing on arm, or landing on fist or shoulder and stuff. It still be scoring as if it landed, but nonetheless, Maxim Grishin will be landing more shots, be landing significant shots, having William Knight missing shots, having William Knight overexert himself. And I just think control the pace of the fight and probably start landing more, have a very strong third round as William Knight's tires out. Probably first two will probably be relatively close, but clear that Maxim Grishin, to anybody with decent eyes, that Maxim Grishin was landing flush shots and William Knight is landing non-scoring shots. And then third round, a tired William Knight's going to probably forced to just go for desperado takedowns and desperado overhands, whereas Maxim Grishin continued to land clean offense and beat him to a decision. So in this fight, I have Maxim Grishin via decision. Now to our next fight we have in the flyweight division, Alex Perez versus Matt Schnell. And how I see this one right here between Perez versus Schnell is, I think even though Perez hasn't fought in like 2 years, I just think it's a bad stylistic match for Schnell. Perez is a bully, and Schnell's a guy that's liable to get bullied. Perez is not going to go out there necessarily trying to prove his striking with Schnell. He's going to go out there, look to pressure Schnell, get a hold of Schnell, put him on the ground, and dominate him there. So probably land a couple power shots, get up underneath him, scoop him, drag him to the ground, and dominate position. Schnell probably doing some good submission attempts, but Perez thwarting every single submission attempt. Then the ground is pounding him out and draining him out. So when Schnell does get opportunity on the feet, his punches are labored, his arms are heavy, feet are heavy, and he can't move, he can't stick and move like he wants to do. I see him dominating Schnell to a decision. Probably not dominating, but definitely controlling Schnell to a decision, like heavily through this one. Not saying to stop it necessarily, but definitely saying a clean, clear performance from Perez in his return. So in this fight, I have Alex Perez via decision. Now to our next fight we have in the women's flyweight division, Roxanne Modafferi versus Casey O'Neill. And how I see this one right here between Modafferi versus O'Neill is, I just think this is Modafferi's farewell fight, and she's not as motivated. And even if she was motivated, I feel like Casey O'Neill, this is her time. She's on a rise. She got a king in her name for a reason. She might be a woman, so she should be queen, but she got her name as king for a reason. She gonna beat on these women like she a man for the most part. And Roxanne Modafferi, I feel like it's gonna be a typical fight, especially as long as her, especially as far as her recent fights go. That's what I was trying to say. Especially as far as her recent fights go. She going in there with a fighter who can beat or match her in every single facet of the game. So I see her first getting picked apart on the feet, or first getting touched up on the feet. Then that opens up grappling exchanges. And then she's end up on the bottom. Yeah, she's confident on the ground, but she's not nearly as dangerous off her back as she's off the top position. Then off her back, see Casey O'Neill just dominating position, thwarting all her submissions, right in that top position, landing ground and pound. But again, Modafferi being competent enough to not get tapped out or TKO'd, having a pretty decent guard and pretty effective over back, not getting herself in any position where she's going to get stopped or finished. Even if she get her back, stay calm, composed, take some shots, and then look to, advance her own position so she don't get flattened out or give up a neck, and stay calm, composed. But another relatively dominant decision loss for Modafferi is what I see in this one. So in this fight, I have Casey O'Neill via decision. Now to our next fight we have in the heavyweight division, Andrei Arlovski versus Jared Vanderaa. So Vanderaa has been looking pretty good, to be honest. He's been looking pretty good. Well, I can't even say he's been looking pretty good. He got dominated last fight. 1-1 fight. Got dominated prior fights. Grappling ain't that good, so let me take that back. He has not been looking good. But anywho, I feel like his striking is decent enough. He got some little power there. He has a decent chance against Arlovski, but ultimately I'm not picking Arlovski. I still feel like he falls very much in the department where Arlovski could beat him. He's a guy that's pretty much one-dimensional. Definitely one-dimensional, I would feel. As far as relatively one-dimensional. At this level, he's one-dimensional. So he'll be out there looking for Arlovski's chin like a lot of these other guys. Arlovski's still going to be drag him to a chess match, be faster, be more fluid, better footwork, more tools. And at his age, he's chinny and this and that. He hasn't been knocked out in a long time because of the style he's adapted. A more point fighting style, a veteran type style that gets him passing. I don't think Vanderaa really has a foot move. I don't think he has an arsenal. I don't think he has a skill necessarily to really cut Arlovski off and be able to land effective shots. Again, good puncher's chance in this one, but I'm going to take Arlovski in this one. I feel like he's going to be on his bike, throwing little teeps to the knees, little spinning back kicks, little stepping side kicks, his little jab out there, maybe do a combination every now and then look for the clinch and the X on the knee or something, or X on the hook, and then go back on his bike. And Vanderaa just going to fall right into his game, get outpointed, and face the veteran. Like, even at this age, a lot of guys still haven't really reached under Arlovski's skill level. Heavyweight is one of the least skilled divisions. And Arlovski's going to go out there and get another decision victory, another chess match, in another fight in which he gets his hand raised by decision. I don't see a stoppage from him, but I see a decision. So in this fight, I have Andrei Arlovski via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the lightweight division, Nasrat Haqparast versus Bobby Green. And how I see it right here is, so Haqparast is a pretty solid fighter. Decent enough wrestling, decent enough striking, good pressure, good power. Bobby Green on the side, I feel like is a much more technical boxer, much cleaner, much more proven, the veteran, much more experienced. I feel like it's going to be a fight where it could definitely be a typical Bobby Green fight, win or lose. It'll be cases where he's going to definitely be landing more shots, be landing cleaner shots, be the better striker out there, be the better fighter out there. But it's coming down to maybe his opponent win just because they were more aggressive and he didn't do enough. I don't really see him stopping Haqparast. I don't see that. I think it's going to be a decision. And I'm picking Bobby Green to win by decision, but again, it's going to be one of those fights where definitely Bobby Green would outland him. Definitely Bobby Green will be the better fighter. Definitely Bobby Green will land more strikes, but it's going to come down to pressure or it'll come down to actual effectiveness, and I feel like Bobby Green will have that. But without doubt, I'm going Bobby Green. There ain't no ifs, ands, or buts. I'm going Bobby Green this one, especially after looking at a disappointing Dan Hooker fight where Dan Hooker out-wrestled him, out-struck him. It may look easy, especially if you come out here just looking for big shots like he was looking for against Dan Hooker. It's going to be another easy fight where Bobby Green is going to be peppering his man up, popping the jab in his face, and by the time he reached for that overhand, that Bobby Green going to be gone. He'll be looking at a cage and be missing. But anywho, Bobby Green peppering him up. Haqparast, again, looking for the big shots, probably trying to overexert himself with the takedowns and not getting them. Then Bobby Green probably scoring takedowns on him. And just, again, getting schooled out there to a decision. But, again, probably relatively close just for the fact that how the judges kind of judge aggression without actual substance. So, still going to be close, but for anyone with decent eyes or know what they're saying, going to be a clear win for Bobby Green. So, in this fight, I got Bobby Green via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the bantamweight division, Phillips versus Marcelo Rojo. And how I see the one right here between Rojo versus Phillips or Phillips versus Rojo. I think Rojo will come out here being aggressive, but that's about it. He's going to be out there being aggressive, but Phillips going to be on his toes, be hitting with spinning back kicks, spinning head kicks, spinning heel kicks, be out there, being active, and not never really allowing Marcelo Rojo just to have a stationary target. So he's going to be out there trying to be aggressive, but not be able to have a fighter there just sitting in front of him. I think Phillips going to be working on his cardio, and also I think this probably be the decision victory for Phillips. He's not going for the finish, I don't think, especially after his last fight where he gassed himself out. He can go out here, just do what he needs to do, get his hand raised, and probably a clean, clear, dominant decision. Just go out there, like I said, being a more active fighter and taking the fight where he needs to, taking controlling position on the feet, mixing it up, then look for those level changes, looking for those openings, get him to the mat, dominating position, peppering him up. If the finish comes, it comes, but it's not a case that you're going to be chasing the finish. If it comes, like he'll be doing, probably take his back, pepper him up, like lance a little shot from the back. If Rojo wants to lift that neck up or try to force his way back to standing, he'll clear, easily, he'll gladly sink that choke in and tap him out. But other than that, I just see a clean, solid performance throughout for Phillips, dominating Rojo in every area of this fight. So in this fight, I have Phillips via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the middleweight division, Cannonier versus Derek Brunson. And how I see this fight right here between Cannonier versus Brunson is, I think Cannonier presents a good test for Brunson, and it's definitely a very tough matchup because Cannonier's takedown defense is getting better with each fight. But also, when you look at it, who has he really fought that's such a great wrestler? He fought Whittaker, but I feel like Brunson's a better wrestler. I feel like everybody knows that Brunson's a better wrestler than Whittaker, but Whittaker is definitely a much better overall package than Brunson. But again, we can't really truly quantify that just yet because Brunson is fighting a very different style now. He's not the same Brunson that's going out there and running through punches. Running and throwing punches with his chin up. His chin still be up at times, but he's not just running and trying to clock out so quick into the fight. But anywho, But I'm liking this Brunson. I'm liking this polish from him. And I'm liking that he's the guy that's going to be doing more things. And that's the thing I got to stick to at least more as far as with predictions. Like, stick to the guy that's going to be doing more things. Cannonier is just going to be out there looking for, the sprawl and brawl or sprawl and look for the knockout. And probably throw some leg kicks and try to kick Brunson's legs out and then probably look to find his chin. Whereas Brunson's going to be out there just as much of a threat on the knockout ability just with Cannonier. They both got power. I feel like Brunson's got far more speed, far more unorthodox. I can say just as much power as Cannonier, I feel, with a little bit more speed, well, a lot of bit more speed, and then he got wrestling. So it's going to be a very tough matchup, but I feel like Brunson doing just a little bit more, doing more, being more around it, is going to get his hand raised. So Cannonier is not going to worry about his power, and then all at the same time, worry about the takedowns. And at times, he get feeling a little bit of Brunson's power, get touch one of those shots, and he's going to be racking into the punches. And then Brunson's going to be able to get takedowns. But very close fight. But I think Brunson's able to hurt Cannonier just like Cannonier's able to hurt Brunson. But ultimately, I feel like Brunson's going to be able to go to his wrestling. And also with the success he finds on the feet, will open up the wrestling opportunities. And Brunson will be able to ground out decision, probably get like 2 or 3 takedowns throughout the course of 3 rounds. And that would be enough to edge some rounds, probably like a 29-28 decision, maybe even a split decision. But Brunson getting his hand raised in the end. So in this fight, I got Derek Brunson via decision. Now to our co-main event, we have in the heavyweight division, Derek Lewis versus Tai Tuivasa. And how I feel in this one, I feel like a little bit rushed for Tai Tuivasa, but nonetheless, it's a striking matchup for the most part. But underrated, Derek Lewis is low-key, high-key the better wrestler, grappling this one, better ground and pound, is better on the ground in general. Tai Tuivasa is kind of just stuck to this one thing. He's just stuck to striking. And I feel like Derek Lewis is currently the more dangerous striker and has fought much more proven competition. When Tai Tuivasa has fought a step up, he has always looked disappointed. Who has he really beat? He beat Stefan Struve. Not really much to write home about. Beat some guys' names you can't even remember. And Greg Hardy, who's not a upper caliber fighter at all. And definitely now when he's not even trying to work on his grappling at all. So Greg Hardy's a name, but he ain't no stellar competition. Whereas Derek Lewis has beaten the current champion, beaten top contenders like Alexander Volkov, Marcin Tybura, et cetera, et cetera. Just beat up one of the best prospects in the division in Kyle Dawkins. Well, Chris Dawkins, not Kyle Dawkins. Kyle Dawkins is the middleweight brother, not the heavyweight brother. Anywho. And also I didn't like the fact that Tai Tuivasa got his chin touched by Greg Hardy and was literally on skates and just was able to weather, ride the storm and find the counter and knock out Greg Hardy within the same time frame, the same frame of getting rocked. But impressive, but against Derek Lewis, that's not something you want to be doing. Ultimately, how I feel in this one, I feel like it's going to be an interesting matchup, very close through like the first 2 rounds. Well, I'm going to say the first round. Both guys landing good shots. Both guys wearing it and coming back. Ultimately, I feel like Derek Lewis finds that shot with Tai Tuivasa's arms drop, find that opening, cracks him. Tai Tuivasa looking to return back. Derek Lewis getting the body lock, dragging him to the ground. Probably getting like a half guard, coming up heavy, landing ground and pound, and knocking Tai Tuivasa out cold on the ground. So I feel like actually the fight going to end on the ground. Derek Lewis is dragging him to the ground, and Tai Tuivasa having no answer, no muscles, no skill on the ground. They're dead fish getting pounded unconscious in that second round. So in this fight, I got Derek Lewis via second round TKO. Now to our main event, we have in the middleweight division for the undisputed middleweight title, Israel Adesanya versus Robert Whittaker 2. So again, Israel, I'm trying to say his name, I'm trying to be special with it. Israel Adesanya versus Robert Whittaker 2. And how is this one? I feel like Whittaker has made some improvements. He's been mixing his grappling more. He has shown his heart in the Cannonier fight, and especially the Till fight to do what he needs to do to secure his victories in those fights. Gaslam fight with just a clean performance throughout. But 2 of those wins are irrelevant really at this point. People slice Till up, but Till got like one win in like 5 years. Got knocked out like twice in that span as well. Got dominated by Brunson pretty much. And then finished by Brunson. So man ain't been looking good. So I ain't really no credible win recently. Whittaker made him look credible, but outside of his fight with Whittaker, Till really ain't been doing much. And that one win over Gaslam, and Gaslam only got like 1 win in 5 years now too. So 2 of his wins really ain't all that good. The Cannonier win, really his best win is late. And Cannonier really ain't been doing all that much lately himself. But he beat Gaslam as well. So yeah, all 3 of his opponents basically ain't been doing much. That's what you can really say. Cannonier's best win is that a recent, really probably his best win in his career is Hernandez. So again, Whittaker beat a whole lot of guys who doing a whole lot of nothing. That's all he beat. A whole lot of guys doing a whole lot of nothing, and both of those guys hurt him. But no knock on him. He showed his heart. He's mixing his wrestling more, fighting smarter. But I still feel like his tools are still the same, and his deficiencies are still the same. As I said in the first fight between these two, first prediction between these two, Whittaker, I feel like will be served well to have actual inside game, but this guy's stance does not work with an inside game. On the inside, he has nothing. He's a bounce, skip, and hop guy. Bounce, skip, throw a punch, and then the kick. Bounce, maybe fake a punch, then throw a kick. Then maybe punch and then look for a takedown. He really ain't got no real combination like that as far as like inside combinations. He's a mid-range, long-range fighter. He has no inside game. He has no real dirty box and no real nothing. No real clean body shots, no real uppercuts to the body, nothing over there. No body head, no body uppercut to the body, or no hook to the body, then uppercut. Like he don't got nothing. He got no inside game. So again, he's fighting the longer man at the longer man's range, hopping and skipping in and out. Adesanya has made leaps and bounds improvements in his wrestling defense and grappling defense. And I know Whittaker going to look to test it. But ultimately, I feel like the fight going to end up on the feet. And Adesanya already knowing what he does. I don't feel like he's made some improvements, but not the necessary ones he needs. I don't think stylistically wise, with his skill set, he's ever going to really make those improvements. Now, it's not like Adesanya going to be the guy that can go out there, put him in a boxing match, pepper him up, get inside, put the shoulder on him, and just be ripping him to the body, ripping him up top, and really make him see where he's so deficient at. He's not going to do that, but it's going to be a case where Whittaker is still hopping in and hopping out, hand low, his lead hand low, be open for that check hook all day. Especially when you got a much longer fighter who's a sniper, and you jumping in with your lead arm low, reaching. It's the same thing. And then he's throwing feints to make you even more predictable. Yes, you fast. Yes, you're explosive. Yes, you're good, but still reaching, still shorter, still leaving your lead arm low, chin up, jumping in. I still see the same exact thing pretty much happen. It's probably going to extend a little bit longer. Wrestling probably going to extend him a round or two. But I see him get stopped in the third round. I see Adesanya chewing up his leg, catching with hooks, rocking him, stunning him. And there's really, I don't see Adesanya going out there trying to necessarily make no statement. I see Adesanya going out there, fight a clean, calm, composed performance out there, picking them apart, and then letting the finish materialize itself and not forcing or rushing anything. So that's why the main reason it's going to go to the third. Not because it's just not there, but it's like Adesanya ain't going to be forcing it, start walking them down, picking them apart in that third round. Like, picking apart through the first two rounds, putting him away in the third round. So in this fight, I have Israel Adesanya via third round TKO. And that concludes my fight predictions for the full card of fights for UFC 271, Adesanya versus Whittaker 2. And as always, thanks for watching.